Yeah, like I say, I'm kind of at a loss for words lately, so maybe we'll try to like push the words aside and just really come into the experience, being with the present and engaging with some of this amazing energy that is completely new. Hmm. Hmm. Now let's I just let out a few deep breaths. No, great. Yeah, me too. Good to be back here. Just a few more deep breaths. Just let it out the mouth. Exhaling and bringing the attention to the seat and the tailbone. Now let's see if as we find our belly breath, and we are all going to just wiggle into our center. You know, I just always like that image of the pendulum, and that our body is now just kind of swinging, kind of trying to find the center of gravity within our vessel and connected to the earth. Hmm. And let's try to a visualization to go with our breathing and centering. I want just imagine that energy coming up the back channel. So just kind of focusing on the tailbone as we inhale the energy up the back of the spine and the tip of the tongue resting on the roof of the mouth as the energy curls down and descends the front line of the body. So inhaling up the back, just pause right at that spot at the palate. And then exhaling down the front of the body. And then pause for just a second when you get down to the sit bone. And just lightly making a little contact with our index finger and thumb. In and out of the nose. Let's just roll the shoulders back. And lengthen the spine a little. As we sit down and weight our energy down, everything kind of sinking, which is great. But now let's feel a little of that rise, a little of the crown lifting, a little space in between the vertebrae, a little floating in the upper body. And just return to a few more of those breaths, feeling the energy rising up the back body. And descending down the front. And let's release the index finger and thumb. And our next inhale, just float the hands up towards the shoulders. Just kind of open up this big funnel. Staying rooted Now we can really just kind of taste what the universe has to offer today. Really bringing our attention into the belly again and watching as the belly expands. That nice round pear shape. Really breathing into the side bodies, breathing into the back. We're slowly bringing all of the layers online. And this layer that we're dealing with now is just kind of turning on our connection with the universe, right? We've turned on the Wi-Fi. One more big belly breath. And then we'll allow the left hand to just drift down, floating above the left thigh, and spin the right palm out away from us. And for a minute, just kind of wiggle into this form a little bit. Float the hands, feel them move around a little. Open the hands up, feel the fingertips, right? Once again, holding the mudras is like holding an instrument. So feel a little muscle energy in the hands as you now just hold this form. And now just kind of bringing online our energy field, that orb. And with each breath, we're going to clear it out, clean it up a bit by inhaling some bright white light into the space all around us. And with each exhale, we'll just let go. Imagine that gray, that smoky mist just descending into the earth. And one more big, fresh breath of chi. And now the left hand will rise and the right hand will sink. And we'll pull it together into our last mudra here. Making a little contact with the index finger and thumb with that right hand. It's floating away from the dantian. Left hand in that half prayer position. Feel the space under the armpits as the arms float off the body. Now we're going to bring online that just connection between heaven and earth, feeling that energy soar up the spine, connecting up into the heavens, and also sinking down, all the way down the sit bone, leaning back into that pillar of light, big lightning rod connecting us deep into the earth. And you just lean back into that. Just feel that connection. It's just holding you steady. We get our personal power from the balance, holding the balance between the earth energy and the energy of the heavens, the upper and the lower, the inner and the outer. And one more big belly breath. And we can just relax the hands down, release the tongue, and slowly return to the space. And release the breath and release the head and neck from side to side. Roll the shoulders back and shake out the hands. And maybe even just brush the head off. All right, let's make our way up. Feel like stretching out and getting up onto the feet, bringing more of the body online. Shaking the legs out. Yeah, let's just move right into our whole body breathing. Just another great way to just bring it online. And this time from the standing position, we can root so much easier with the earth. So find that pendulum image again and lean forward onto the toe box, back onto the heels, lifting the toes, spreading the feet out. Rock from side to side. Bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And then find our belly breath. It's a little bit different as we're standing to find it. And then float the elbows. Tuck the tailbone. Almost like greeting stillness. All right, let's begin a little whole body breathing. We'll kind of open the palms up and we'll inhale. Rising up. Pause just for a second and exhale down. Continuing with your own breath. See if you can pay as much attention to your feet as you are your hands. The solid stillness of your connection with the mat. And the rising weightlessness of the upper body. Just holding on to that feeling, heaven and earth. And then we can always bring in a little imagination, that fresh chi, reaching out like you're a fisherman casting your net and depositing the catch. As you exhale, release, and make room for that new chi. And one more sweep. You can change direction the next time your hands come all the way down to the dantian. And one more. And we'll come down to form our beach ball. And just for a second or two, just hold it there. Roll the shoulders back, release any tension, and feel the openness in the joints, the elbows and wrists. You can almost imagine there's water just flowing down the arms. And then we can begin to expand the beach ball and contract it. Breathing. We can practice this with eyes open or closed. And so if you've been doing one thing the entire time, maybe try the other. If your eyes have been closed, maybe try opening them and just allowing them to rest across the room. You just feel the difference. Sometimes with the eyes open, then we kind of are reaching out with our senses into the space as well as our internal form. Now let's do one more big breath. And exhale the hands down to the sides. Slowly rise up and step out. Shake it off. Exhale out the mouth, brush the head off, kick the legs out. Open up some windows, getting warm in here. All right. No, not when it's already 76 or so degrees. Yep. All right, let's just do a little basic mobility stuff just to loosen up the body. Let's step one foot in front of the other. Maybe we'll just bring the left foot in the front, the right foot in the back. And we're just gonna square our hips and shoulders off to the front of the mat. And we're gonna extend our arms, palms open, and we're just gonna bring the arms up. And maybe we even lift that back heel off the ground a little bit and get a little bit of a baby back bend. Maybe the head reaches back just a sec. Breathing. And then bringing the arms all the way down. We'll drop that lower heel. We'll hinge at the waist. Coming forward kind of into an L-shaped pose, and the arms continue rising, just feeling where our range of motion is. Bring the arms up as high as you can. You can even drop all the way down if you have the openness there. And then swinging the arms back down. Torso rises up, coming all the way back up. Big breath. Maybe lift that back heel, a little baby back bend. And then coming down one more time. Bringing the arms up. And rising back up. And stepping the left foot back. And shaking the arms off. Woo. Kick those legs out. All right, let's do a little bit of constant bear. Just stir it up a little bit. And the way I've been teaching now, the constant bear is start by just swinging the arms. One arm swings in the front, the other in the back. And then we can bring in the twisting piece, twisting at the waist. And allow the arms to slap against the sides of the body. A little bit more twist. Exhale out the mouth a few times. And slowing it down. Whew. Stir it all up. You can really feel it when you slow down. Bring it back. Whew. All right, coming to stillness. And just find that Qigong stance. Breathing deeply. You know, we'll even settle a little bit of that stillness by placing the hands over the belly. Guys with the right hand first and ladies with the left hand first. That the hand on the top, we're going to grip the top of the thumbnail in between the webbing of our lower hand. There you go. And just breathe. Almost like we just turned on the mixer and now we're slowing it all down. Digesting and just balancing it all out. Regulating the qi. And that means bringing it into just a harmonious relationship. One more big breath into the hands. And we'll release down. We'll use that as our clearing today in between. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a lot of kind of this heaven up stuff and down earth. And so let's go down to earth now, and we'll do a little bit of our rock. And so once again, let's bring the left foot in front of the right. Bend the knees. That back foot, we have a little bit of an angle on. I'm going to turn to the side here. And we can either rest our hands on the thighs as we get nice and low, or we can bring them out in front of us into the ruler. Just kind of holding that 12 inches there. And let's just find our breath again. Tip of the tongue comes to the roof of the mouth. And then we begin to lean forward, kind of becoming empty in that back foot as we come up onto our toes. The front foot fills, heavy. We can almost lift the back toes up. And then very slowly, the back foot drops, the weight shifts, and the front toes become light. And that heel almost lifts off the ground. And then we lean forward again. Go ahead and find that space on the floor, maybe 3 feet in front, that you can just fix on. Rest the gaze. We're really just trying to feel this transfer of weight more than anything else. Just experience it. One foot becomes empty. The other foot becomes full. And if you want to add one more piece, imagine that you're holding a mudra. Feel that space between the palms. Feel the electricity, the relationship between the hands. Like you just have a light bulb in there and you just kind of turned it on. All right, let's come down to both feet. Relax the hands down to the thighs. Slowly rise up and switch sides. And shake it off in between if that feels good. All right. Right foot in front. Bring the hands out. Tip of the tongue's on the roof of the mouth. Where's your breath? Try to bring it all the way down into the belly. And one more belly breath, rocking forward or back. Slowly bringing the feet down to the mat. The hands to the thighs. Rise up. Shake it off. And we'll come to our regulating the chi. Yeah. And we'll take a little break. Just feeling all that amazing earth energy in the feet. One more big breath into the hands. And release. And shake it off. All right, we're going to open up some more windows here. Open up some more window. All right. I was doing the ruler and the rock. One thing I noticed is it does kind of load the lower back a little bit. Just feeling it in the lower back. So let's make our way down to our mat. And now we got these yoga tools to help us with our Qigong practice. Why not a strap too? No, it doesn't. Okay. No, you can use your karate belt. The green one's cool though. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, we'll bring the strap aside, but let's get down and just release some of that low back and mid back. Get ourselves in our windshield wiper position, taking the feet to the wide edges of the mat. Position the hands down, get the shoulder blades under the back. And we'll just drop the knees over to the right side. And find those deep belly breaths. And then the next inhale, bring the knees up. And pause for just a half a second. And exhale over to the left. Just warming up a little bit here. And inhale up. And exhale over to the right. And this time we can bring the right foot on top of the left thigh. Maybe drop the left ear towards the mat. And with each breath, maybe kind of holding on to some of that grounded feeling. And kind of think back to the last thing we did and just feel what it felt like to be that grounded during our rock and ruler. Just feel some of that energy in all of the places where we're contacting the mat here. Feel that earth energy, rooting your shoulder blades down, supporting every limb. Let's release the top foot, bring the head and neck up, and pause for a moment. And we'll inhale, the knees up, reposition those shoulder blades under the back, and exhale over to the left side. We'll bring the left leg on top of the right thigh, drop the right ear towards the mat. One more big belly breath. And we'll bring that top foot down, head and neck up. And inhale the knees back up. Let's straighten one leg out and then the other. Bring the arms up overhead, stretch the fingertips. Activate those feet like we're kicking into a wall. Couple deep breaths. And we'll bend each knee, bringing the feet back to the mat. And this time we'll go about hip width distance, not the full width of the windshield wipers. And we'll do a little figure 4 here. So we're going to bring our right leg right up to that left thigh, crossing the legs. And we're going to eventually convince our right leg to move away from us, but we want to make sure we secure the knee by activating that right foot. Activate the ball of the right foot like we're kicking into something. Then you can use your right hand on your right thigh to maybe convince the hip to open a little bit. Kind of like opening a book. And pull it in towards you, close the book. Exhale, open the book a little. Now you can stay here, or you can reach your hands through the keyhole, grab a hold of your left thigh, interlace your fingers behind the left thigh, and pull the whole arrangement in towards your chest. Inhale, back off. Exhale, pull it in a little closer. All the while keeping a little muscle activation in that right foot. If it feels comfortable, you can straighten that left leg all the way up. It kind of does the same thing. We're just activating a little bit more. And slowly lowering the whole arrangement down to the mat. Gently just grab a hold of your right leg, pull it off of the left thigh, rest it down. And let's straighten each leg out and just shake the legs out just a little bit. Stretch the arms up overhead. Let's just point the toes and circle the feet like you're drawing a big circle with your toes. Opening up the ankles and circle the other direction. And then we'll bend both knees, bring the feet back to the mat. And the other side, bring the left foot on top of the right thigh. Once again, just feeling into the hip. It's going to feel a little different. Activate the left foot. Use your left hand to coax that book open with your breath. And then option to reach through the keyhole, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, and pull the whole figure 4 towards the chest. Once again, if it feels good to extend that right leg up, it's an option. This is amazing how many different ways we can move into the hips. One more deep breath, pulling those hips in, and then Laying the assembly back down, gently removing your leg, placing both feet down on the mat. All right, shake those hands off a little bit. Yeah, we might as well straighten one leg than the other. Just always feels good to stretch out. All right, let's grab our strap, bend both knees, feet back to the mat, and we'll wrap the strap around the ball of the right foot. Allow the hands to slide all the way down the straps. Your elbows are comfortably on the ground. Wrap that strap maybe once around the wrists. Straighten that leg. Whatever angle's needed to straighten it so you can kick into the strap and pull the leg into the hip socket. Straightening the left leg if it's available. Root that left heel down if you do that. Lots of muscle energy in that left leg, like you're lifting on the left kneecap. It's like weighting that leg down into the ground so that the right leg can open up a little bit. Rising of the foot and pulling the whole leg down. Once again, heaven and earth energy balanced. Breathing. All right, back the angle off. So allow your heel to drop just a little bit. You're going to transfer the strap into your right hand. So reach up with the right hand as far as you can. Grab a hold of both sides of the strap. Reach your left hand out like a big kickstand, palm down. So root some of that weight down to the left. And now we're going to allow the right leg to open once again like a big book. And just go a little bit at a time. Stop, take a breath. You're kicking into the strap. And then maybe the leg opens a little bit more to the side. Really root your balance over to the left side. You need to counterweight that right leg. And just find that place where you're pretty balanced. We don't need to go all the way to the edge here. And slowly lift that right leg back up. And this is going to be a little tricky here. If you have if you've had a hip surgery, you got to be really careful about doing this. What we're going to do is we're going to switch hands. We're going to reach up with our left hand now, grabbing a hold of both sides of the strap, and we're going to bring the right hand out to the side. Once again, if you've had hip surgery, they say this is a no-no. So stay here, flex the leg, play a little bit with just pulling on the leg towards the head. But we can experiment here now with bringing the right leg over to the left side of the body. It's a little bit of a twist, and we got to really root through the right palm, shoulder. And even just a little bit can be fine. It's when you really bring the hip all the way over that they say that with a hip surgery, you can actually come close to popping the femur bone out of the hip. And we're not going to do that. One more deep breath here. And we'll bring the leg back up to center. Bend the knee. Remove the strap. Straighten the leg out. And just shake it off a little bit. All right, we'll bend both knees.
And wrap the strap around the left foot, left ball of the left toes. Once again, allow the hands to just slide down the strap, wrapping them around the wrist. Kicking into the strap, pulling the leg down, and maybe straightening the right leg. Breathing. Inhale, backing off just a little bit. Exhale, the toes a little closer towards the head. Big breath. All right. Hold on to the strap with your right hand while your left hand reaches all the way up, grabs both sides of the strap. Right hand comes out like a kickstand. And really kick into that strap. Try to straighten the leg as much as possible. And find a little opening as we open the book a little. Pause, breathe. This really isn't about how open we can bring our leg. It's more about stopping in between and breathing into those little spaces. Pause, stabilize the body, equalize your balance. And then maybe the left leg opens towards the side a little bit more. And we'll slowly make our way back up. Pause. Just a little bit of a bend in the knee just to relax your grip. And switch hands, reaching up with your right hand. Left hand comes out as the kickstand. Kick into that strap. And allow the left leg to float over towards the right side just a little bit. Reroute the shoulder blades, the whole right side of your body. Left hand, breathe. And kicking into that strap, maybe we carry it over to the right just a little bit more. That left shoulder blade is going to be your savior. That's your anchor. So don't come off your anchor. One more big breath. And slowly rise up. Relax your grip. Allow your hands to just slide down the strap. And slowly lowering the left leg. You bend the knee a little if you like. Bring it all the way down to the mat. Whoops, right onto a penny dog. All right, lower those legs down and just shake them out a little. Side to side. Just relax, let go entirely. Get some nice deep breaths heading into the hips. Just feel that wash of circulation. All right. Whew. Let's bend the knees. Bring the feet. The feet are now going to be about hip width distance. You're going to scoot your heels back so you can almost brush your heels with your fingertips. So stretch your fingertips down by your sides. See if you can get your middle finger to hit your heel. And now mentally, we're going to have to straighten our feet. Most likely our feet are ducked out a little bit. We want to bring the feet to parallel. And we're going to play with our bridge pose a little bit. We're going to open up the low back. And so really get those shoulder blades under the back. Lift the chest up. Lots of lift. And then the head and neck extend away from the collarbone. It's like a tiny movement, but really important. Head and neck, the crown is extending away. Push back into the mat with the back of your head. So you have that nice, like almost like a tripod. The back of your head and the two shoulder blades are like this really nice tripod. Feel all this lift in the upper chest. Find your breath. You're going to begin to fire up the muscles in your feet and in your legs as you slowly inhale and exhale, pushing your hips off the mat, launching yourself into a little bit of a bridge pose. Breathing. And I'm going to let you kind of go at your own pace here. You can always inhale, drop back down, and take a little rest. Or stay up in the bridge, breathing, or pulsing in between the two. It's kind of like you're moving through cat-cow a little bit, right? Kind of the freestyle. With your breath, lifting up on the hips. And even if you're staying up in your bridge, back out just a little bit with your breath. And then exhale, push up into it. One more big belly breath. And then we'll exhale all the way down. And deep breath, exhale out the mouth. And straighten one leg out and then the other. And stretch our arms up overhead. Point the feet, flex the feet back, stretch the fingertips, wiggle the fingertips, flick the fingers off. Shake the hands off. And we're going to just roll over onto our side. And just let it all go. One more big breath. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and just pick yourself up to a seated position here, or close to a seat. Allow the blood to return. And we're gonna grab hold of our bolster. We're gonna do one more good hip thing. We're gonna do a little supported Sphinx Cobra up dog. And yeah, grab a little drink of water. Gosh. Every time we get to do hips, it's just, there's just too much to do. We have two. They just have so many ways to open. All right, we're gonna just do the final nice lower back release. We've, done that nice bridge opening the back up, but now we're just gonna flip the whole thing over, and basically, we're almost like doing a bridge here. We're gonna bring the hips to rest on that bolster. Of course, if you don't have a flat bolster like this, you can always use a few blankets. And so the best part about this pose is resting on your palms with the side of your head. And just feel how good that is, just to have the hips elevated a little, especially after all the work we just did. And just breathing. Just mixing the restorative poses in with the active, balancing it out, both just as important. Okay. Let's bring our hands under us. We're going to move into a Sphinx position. So the elbows are right under the shoulders, palms down on the mat, forearms are nice and parallel. Roll the shoulders around a little bit. Just feel the mobility of your shoulder blades here. And now we're going to lift the right leg up, point the right toes, and stretch that right leg as back far as we can, placing the top of the foot down on the mat. Ooh, it's really easy to cramp your foot, which I just did. So you got to kind of maybe need to wiggle the toes out a little bit. Anyway, left leg, stretch it out away from us. And then now root down through the tailbone. So you're pushing into your prop with your hips. A little muscle energy into those legs. That's your root, your foundation. And now we're going to grab a hold of the mat like you're grasping the mat. And you're going to drag yourself forward. Don't even push yourself up. Drag yourself forward. Shoulder blades sliding onto the back. And your anchor, your whale's tail of the lower torso is resisting. Pulling length through the spine. And now maybe the back of the head lifts. Maybe we lift the head up just a little bit. We lift a little bit in the upper chest. We don't want to crunch the low back. So keep pulling forward. Deep breath. One more, we're almost there. All right. Bring the hands under your head. Bring your elbows out to the sides. Rest completely. Oh, and that feels amazing. And switch your head to the other side just to balance out our neck stretch. One more deep breath. All right. Let's now either bring the hands under into Sphinx or bring the hands back to the chest, the sides of the chest. And if we're going to lift up with our hands here, we got to get all set up first. I'm kind of resting on my chin a little bit. Let's go ahead and straighten those legs out one at a time. Stretch them out. Bring them back. Activate that tailbone. Shoulder blades not only come together, but the elbows are coming together. Drag yourself forward again. Drag yourself forward and lift a little in the upper chest. Baby cobra. Breathing. The more your feet root, your tailbone roots, maybe you can drag yourself up. Breathing. Pulling yourself forward. And you can always come down and take a rest. Always just exhale down. Rest your head down on the mat. Take a breather. And let's go for one more time. All right, really rooting the foundation, getting those hands back and dragging yourselves forward. Shoulder blades, elbows coming together. Maybe we come up a little bit more. Breathing. One more big breath. And come down, all the way down. Rest your hands on your head on your hands. All right, let's curl the back toes under. Once again, we'll bring the hands back towards the chest. Shoulder blades on the back, elbows together. Now we're almost in like an 8-point pose. It's like a supported 8-point pose. Or I guess another name for this is the worm. And we can use this pose. This is the ready pose to push ourselves up into either tabletop or down dog. So we're just going to go up into tabletop. So just push ourselves back. Woo. And you know what? We may need to push ourselves all the way back into a puppy pose or a child's pose. Just to release now. Oh, and our convenient prop is here for our head, and rest our arms over it. So your knees are either directly under you or they're out at wide angles. Breathing. Toes are curled under, stretching the feet out. Kind of the antidote to the bridge and the cobra. All right, let's lift ourselves up for a second. We'll get some blood rushing back towards the body here. Shake the hands off. Remove the prop. Whew. We'll attempt to get up. Let's shake the hands out. Exhale out the mouth. Brush the head off. All right. Let's step one foot up. Let's just move through a lunge. It's just going to feel good to straighten the legs out. Bring your hands up to fingertips, or if your blocks are nearby, you can always have your blocks under your hands. And we're going to straighten the back leg, lifting the back knee up. Nice. And just wiggle around a little bit. You can drop your heel back, bringing it forward. Really weight that left heel down, or right heel, depending on whatever foot's forward. Straighten that back leg. All right, let's drop that back knee. I'm going to bring our bent knee back down to the mat, back to tabletop as we switch positions. Bring the other foot forward. Yeah, this is good. This is a good way to reset our hips before standing. And then into the lunge, lifting that back thigh. Your bent knee is weighted down through the heel. Your straight leg is lifting up and forward. All right, let's step that back foot up to join the bent knee. Bent knee, Uttanasana, forward bend. Resting the torso on the thighs. You can even grab a hold of the elbow tips. Shake and release the head and neck. Bring your hands to your shins. And slowly lift the head and sit back into your chair a little bit. Let's bring our hands then to the hips. We'll sit all the way back into the chair as the elbows come together, the shoulder blades come onto the back. Breathing, head rises. Sit back into your chair, fire up that core. Slowly rising up to standing. Breathing. A couple breaths in mountain pose here. I'm always a little lightheaded right here, so just hold on. Deep breath. We'll inhale the arms up, overhead. Exhale the prayer. 2 more times. Inhale down and up. Exhale the prayer. 1 more. And just hold a nice, big, long breath, or just take a big breath in this prayer posture. Lift the kneecaps, tuck the tailbone, lots of muscle energy in the legs. 1 more big belly breath. And release. And step out, shake it all off. All right, we made it back to our feet. How did we get here, and how did almost all of class go by? So I think we're going to start listing this class as 9:30 to 11. Since I always run over, we're just going to throw that in there. And just hour and a half, an hour and a quarter is too short. We can't get it all in.
We start at 9:30.
Yeah.
That's it. We just started.
We start at 9:30. We end whenever we end. Right. All right. Shaking it all off. All right. Well, we did all that grounding, all that earth energy. Now it's time to get back up and kind of link it all back together. So let's do our aligning of the triple burner. So that's our interlaced fingers on our head. And we'll practice just lifting the heels a few times just to feel where we are today with our balance. Just feeling the front and back body completely working together to keep us balanced. Just stretching the toes feels really good. All right, let's come down onto the heels. Bend the knees just a little bit. Tip of the tongue comes to the roof of the mouth. Find that belly breath. Nice and relaxed. And on your next inhale, we'll stretch everything up. Nice and slow. And exhale, landing down. Our next inhale, the hands flip. And they return to the head. Going at your own pace. And the hands flipping every other time. Keeping the eyes fixated on a spot here can be really good for the balance. Really feeling that balance in the body as we inhale up.
And enjoy the midway points, right? Just really relish the in-between. And that way we'll bring everything into alignment, not just the extremities. Everybody do one more. Release the hands, float all the way down, coming into our regulating of qi, hands on the lower dantian. Grasp a hold of that top thumb. Hold those hands like an instrument. Feel those feet sinking into the earth. Breathe into the hands. One more deep breath. Allow the hands to come down to the sides. And we're going to do about our ruler distance, grabbing a hold of the basketball. I'll drop it all the way down. And this is the moon phases move. And so we're going to toe heel the feet a little bit wider, a little bit of a wider stance. We're going to look at our moon, feel, just widen the hands and narrow them. Try to bring online that feeling of the connection between the palms. Feel the space in between. And now really focus your gaze on it. And now we're going to carry that over to the right side. Straightening the elbows. We're going to carry it all the way over. We're going to lift the left heel now. Lift the left heel all the way up. Stretching the side body. Looking at that full moon in the sky. And then slowly bringing it down and around. Meditatively slow. All the way to center. And then it continues on its orbit. Lifting that right heel. When you get to the extremity, pause. Really feel that connection between the ball of your foot stretched all the way up the side body, all the way up into the hand and wrist. And breathe into that line. And then exhale your way down. And the same thing for the other side. Just really, we're going to stretch the ball of the toe all the way up the side body. You can inhale up and exhale down. Just do a few cycles like that, moving a little bit faster. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And stretch up one more time. Exhale down. Hands together for our regulating of the qi. Toe heel the feet in. And breathing.
And with your next exhale, release. And step out, shake it off. And brush off. Ah. All right, I think we got time for one more. And this will go good with our theme that we started with of breathing up the back of the body and then exhaling down the front. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands, put them in the back pockets. And this is where we exhale and we trace the backs of our legs all the way down. You can bend your knees. And then you inhale, slowly rising up, and then come up on the toes. So just going at your own pace. Just find that breath. Tip of the tongue's on the roof of the mouth. Find that nice belly breath. And exhale like a squeegee down the backs of your legs. Exhaling all the way down. You bend your knees as much as you need to. And then inhale like you're now pulling earth energy up the back of the body, putting it right back into the kidneys, into the gateway of life as you rise up onto your toes. And then exhaling down again. And you'll rise up one more time. And then just drop the heels, release the hands. Shake them out. And we'll come in to regulate the chi. And let's seal the chi in. 9 big clockwise circles, rubbing the dantian. After your 9th circle, just take one more breath into the palms. And release. All right. Shake it out. We'll make our way down to the mat. Some Shavasana. Just really getting those shoulder blades under the back.
And just slightly wiggling the limbs, wiggling fingers and toes. Just to release any hidden tension. Release your jaw. Just let go of that tension behind the eyes. As you just sink deeper and deeper into this total relaxed stillness. And begin to deepen the breath. Slowly return to the body. Maybe stretch the limbs, stretch the arms up overhead.
eventually just make your way over onto your side. Just pausing there for a few breaths. And slowly coming back up to a seat. And we'll bring the hands together at the heart. Just feel that equal pressure. Holding that instrument at the heart center. Enough. Where is your center? Where's your pendulum? As you bring that belly breath back online, find your center. And feel that inhale, pull energy up the back. Hit the tongue and the palate, and then exhale down the front of the body. Another deep belly breath. And then maybe just a little smile for the heart. Thanking yourself for making it to the mat today. And I thank you for joining, and such a great practicing with both of you. Namaste.